I know so much more about you, Alicia. I paid good money for the intel I got on you, and it was worth every penny.
The buzz is real. At 44, Alicia Keys finally revealed the unspoken truth about what Clive Davis and Jay-Z did to her, but not through words. It's whispered in the contracts she signed, the silence she maintained, and the ironclad guard over her carefully crafted image. Industry insiders say Clive masterminded her rise from day one, shaping every note and controlling every message. But how much of this is fact, and how much is the story that's defined her entire journey? Stay tuned. We're about to spill the untold story. Empire State of Control, the untold story behind Alicia Keys' rise. At 44, Alicia Keys remains one of the most captivating figures in music. But behind her polished image lies a story woven with power plays, whispered secrets, and carefully managed narratives. According to sources close to the industry, Clive Davis and Jay-Z weren't just collaborators in her career. They were architects of her rise, shaping every note she sang and every move she made, often from the shadows. The public rarely saw the real power dynamics. Jay-Z, for example, came into the picture a bit later, publicly backing Alicia's moves, but insiders say the real negotiations and deals happened behind closed doors. When Alicia was first introduced on stage, fans heard the warmth in her voice and saw the genuine connection between artists. Yet, what happened off stage was a different story altogether. Jay-Z himself once said, "I'm here to honor one of the greatest that's ever done it. And, I'm also here because, before anything else, I was a true fan of your music." Those words masked a complex relationship fueled by business and image management, with Alicia playing a part in a carefully choreographed industry dance. Take, for instance, 2009, the year Jay-Z released Empire State of Mind, a song that became an anthem for New York and one of his most iconic tracks. What many don't realize is Alicia Keys wasn't originally planned for the hook. According to insiders, songwriters Angela Hunt and Janet S. Sewell-Ulepic had envisioned Mary J. Blige as the voice to carry the chorus. Mary J. even performed an early version live, solidifying her as the initial top choice. But the industry pivoted. Jay-Z shifted course, and Alicia got the call. Yet even then, the process wasn't seamless. In a 2023 interview, Alicia revealed that Jay-Z nearly gave up trying to reach her. She admitted she had to record the vocals multiple times before he was satisfied. "I thought it worked. I thought it sounded good," she said, recalling the first session in LA. "But he called me and was like, you think you're going to be able to do them vocals again?" And I was like, "What?" Once Alicia came on board, the song skyrocketed. It went 9 times platinum, won 2 Grammys, and was performed at major events like the World Series and the VMAs, cementing itself as a generational hip-hop anthem. Yet, beneath the success, rumors quietly bubbled up. Some insiders whispered that Alicia's involvement wasn't purely about her vocal talent, that Jay-Z's push was also driven by a growing personal bond, tying her to him in ways far beyond the music. What complicates this further is Alicia's relationship with Clive Davis, the legendary music executive who signed her and meticulously shaped her debut album and public persona. Clive's control over his artists is well documented. He's credited with launching the careers of legends like Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, and Janis Joplin. Alicia was no exception. At just 19, when she signed with Clive's newly launched J Records, her original album was sidelined. Davis demanded it be re-recorded, repackaged, and delayed, softening its sound to fit a more adult contemporary market he believed would sell better. The braids, piano, and modest clothes, all parts of an image, are carefully curated to appear safe and relatable. Her lyrics focused on empowerment and personal struggle, but steered clear of rebellion or controversy. Critics noted she wasn't as raw as Lauryn Hill or as flashy as Beyoncé. Alicia was calm, respectable, and protected by design. Then there are Jaguar Wright's explosive allegations. Wright claimed Alicia was involved in an affair with producer Swizz Beatz while he was still married. Allegedly, Alicia had a pattern of entangling herself in other women's relationships, causing turmoil behind the scenes. Wright also implicated Clive Davis, saying he pressured Alicia into certain personal choices under threat of career sabotage. These claims, while unverified, paint a troubling picture of an industry where power is wielded not just through contracts, but through personal manipulation. Jaguar didn't stop there. She challenged Alicia's public persona, accusing her of hiding her true self, including her sexuality, behind carefully managed relationships and images. She even publicly mocked Alicia's appearance and challenged her to a physical fight, further fueling a bitter feud. Through it all, Alicia stayed silent. No denials, no rebuttals. She kept performing, winning awards, and maintaining her carefully polished brand. Was Alicia Keys a willing participant, or a pawn in a game controlled by powerful figures like Clive Davis and Jay-Z? Her story remains a blend of undeniable talent and the shadowy realities of an industry built on control, image, and silent deals. The perfect image, the silent storm. Alicia Keys' untold struggles. By 2001, Alicia Keys wasn't just another rising star. She was a full-blown cultural force. Her debut album, Songs in a Minor, shattered expectations, selling over 12 million copies globally and scooping up 5 Grammy Awards. It was an astronomical launch, and always nearby, orchestrating it all was Clive Davis. The music mogul didn't just discover Alicia, he molded her. According to industry insiders, Clive didn't merely promote her career, he curated every inch of her public image, managing her rise like a presidential campaign. No controversy, no missteps, just talent, charm, and polish, packaged for mass consumption. But such careful crafting sparked whispers behind the scenes. Some artists quietly grumbled that Clive had favorites, Alicia chief among them, lavishing her with resources while others were sidelined. Years later, when Jaguar Wright accused Clive of weaponizing Alicia's career to elevate her while allegedly blackballing competitors, the industry murmurs returned with intensity. Speculation swirled. Was Alicia a willing participant, or just a piece in a larger industry game? Alicia's silence only amplified those questions. She rarely addressed industry politics, stayed far from feuds, and never waded into debates about the visibility of black female artists. Even as her name was floated in gossip columns, tied to quiet allegations or unspoken conflicts, Alicia remained composed, unshaken, unbothered, and above the fray. Some said it was poise, others called it strategy. According to sources, her unproblematic image wasn't an accident, it was designed. She didn't demand a seat at the table. The seat was already prepared, and her silence was the unspoken cost. As her fame grew, so did her reach. By her mid-20s, Alicia Keys was omnipresent, performing at the Grammys, gracing the covers of Rolling Stone and Essence, headlining global summits, and co-hosting events like the Black Ball. And at almost every public milestone, Clive Davis was there, ushering her forward, name attached, like a political sponsor never far from the frame. To fans, it symbolized loyalty. To critics, it suggested dependence. Then came the moment that pierced her untouchable image. Swizz Beatz. Swizz, whose real name is Kasim Dean, was still married to singer Mashonda Tefrere when reports emerged in 2008 linking him to Alicia Keys. Swizz had wed Mashonda in 2004 and fathered a son with her in 2006. By 2008, while still legally married, he also fathered a daughter with UK-based artist Jana Sebastian. But it was his relationship with Alicia that caused the greatest public storm. Sources claimed Alicia and Swizz began dating in late 2008. Swizz insisted he and Mashonda were separated, but the divorce wasn't finalized. And when photos of Swizz and Alicia surfaced, Mashonda broke her silence. In September 2009, she wrote an open letter directly addressing Alicia. "You know what you did. You know the role you played. and you know how you contributed to the ending of my marriage." The letter, shared publicly and tagged to Alicia by name, exploded online. For the first time, someone had publicly confronted Alicia, with receipts. But Alicia said nothing. No interview response, no social media post, no statement. She simply moved forward, performing, winning, smiling, while the internet buzzed with speculation. The silence was strategic, but it also raised questions. If she stayed silent through this, what else had she chosen not to speak about? By 2020, the drama appeared to be cool. Alicia, Swizz, and Mashonda even posed in joint family photos, co-parenting in public harmony. But the internet never forgot. Fans kept asking the same question. How much of Alicia's pristine image was real, and how much was rehearsed? Then came 2016, the moment Alicia flipped the script. She stepped onto the BET Awards red carpet without a trace of makeup. No foundation, no blush, not even mascara. The industry froze. It was a bold, unspoken protest in a world built on image. Within hours, the moment went viral. Alicia's bare face flooded timelines. Some fans applauded her bravery. Others weren't so convinced. But then Alicia published an essay via Lenny Letter, the feminist blog co-founded by Lena Dunham. In her words, she was tired of hiding, of judgment, of pressure. "I don't want to cover up anymore," she wrote. "Not my face, not my mind, not my soul, not my thoughts." The message struck a nerve. Media outlets hailed it as revolutionary. Feminist groups embraced it. The hashtag "no makeup" trended globally. Women posted fresh-faced selfies in solidarity. For a time, Alicia was applauded not for her voice, but for her vulnerability. She had started a movement. But then, the cracks started to show. Just months later, Alicia appeared in promotional shoots, music videos, and live performances that looked a little too polished. Fans zoomed in, spotting signs of highlighter, bronzer, and tinted moisturizer. Beauty editors weighed in. Think pieces emerged. Was Alicia Keys really makeup-free? Some argued she had turned authenticity into a brand, a movement into a marketing moment. They noted that with access to elite skincare, dermatologists, and wellness experts, going makeup-free wasn't exactly a fair fight. Alicia pivoted, telling the press she was never anti-makeup, just pro-choice. However, critics pointed out that her original essay read like a manifesto. Her silence on the shift felt familiar, calculated. Because in an industry built on perception, even the act of saying nothing says everything. Bare faces, hidden layers, the Alicia Keys controversy. I'm loving it. I'm feeling centered. I'm feeling powerful. I'm feeling clear. Alicia Keys' words seem to capture a moment of radical honesty. And you're looking gorgeous. I mean, part of that is, it's internal, but it's external too. You've just kind of started a movement here. The moment felt groundbreaking. An artist boldly stepping away from the heavy makeup and filters that had long dominated the entertainment world. But then the story took a turn. Just months after Alicia made headlines with her makeup-free declaration at the 2016 BET Awards, she began showing up in press photos, music videos, and public appearances looking noticeably more polished. The natural glow she once championed appeared enhanced. Observant fans and beauty insiders pointed out signs of light foundation, bronzer, lip balm, and even evidence of skin treatments. It wasn't the use of makeup that bothered critics. It was the contradiction between the message and the reality. Allegedly, what started as a personal liberation evolved into a carefully crafted branding moment. Critics argued that Alicia Keys had turned something intimate into a strategic campaign, an attempt to separate herself from the over-glamorized era of Instagram filters and influencer beauty lines. The backlash didn't stop with fans. Leading beauty experts weighed in, and headlines questioned the authenticity of her no-makeup look with provocative titles like, "Is Alicia Keys really makeup-free?" and the truth behind the no makeup movement. During her tenure as a judge on The Voice, viewers scrutinized every shot, zooming in on hints of blush, contouring, or tinted moisturizer. What once was a powerful statement was now perceived by many as a marketing tool. The damage was compounded by Alicia's shifting narrative in interviews. She later clarified that she was never anti-makeup, but rather pro-choice, emphasizing that her goal was to empower women to make their own decisions, not shame those who chose differently. Yet for many, this pivot didn't align with the tone of her original Lenny Letter essay. That piece had read like a manifesto, framing makeup as a symbol of oppression, a barrier she had bravely cast off. When she later reappeared with full glam under the guise of no makeup, fans felt misled and disillusioned. The backlash intensified. Longtime supporters pulled back. Some accused her of performative activism, while others acknowledged her right to evolve, but insisted she should have openly admitted she was no longer following the movement she had ignited. Critics also raised concerns about privilege. Alicia's lifestyle reportedly includes access to top-tier skincare professionals, personal chefs, and wellness experts, luxuries that make maintaining flawless skin easier without makeup. For the average woman juggling long work hours and limited resources, embracing such a natural look might seem unattainable. This gap underscored a disconnect between Alicia's message and many women's realities. What had started as a bold, empowering stand eventually felt out of touch, even alienating. For an artist whose brand was built on honesty, authenticity, and simplicity, this controversy wasn't just about makeup, it was about trust. Then, in early 2024, Alicia Keys found herself at the center of a new storm. She traveled to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to perform and speak at a highly publicized women's summit. The event was officially designed to celebrate progress, empowerment, and female leadership. But to many, it raised serious questions. Saudi Arabia has one of the most controversial records on women's rights globally. Only a few years earlier, international headlines had exposed the imprisonment of female activists, strict male guardianship laws, and brutal crackdowns on dissent. Critics quickly condemned the summit as hypocritical. How can you claim to champion women's empowerment in a country where women only recently gained the right to drive, and where opposing government policies risk imprisonment or worse? And yet, there was Alicia Keys, smiling, singing, speaking on stage about women's power and global unity. The backlash was swift and severe. Activists and human rights groups accused her of cultural whitewashing, being part of a PR campaign aimed at glossing over Saudi Arabia's ongoing repression. Some argued Alicia's presence lent the regime celebrity credibility without any real accountability. For many, it was a betrayal of her earlier stances on feminism and authenticity. What made the backlash sting even more was Alicia's silence on the controversy. While she posted photos from the summit, praising the women she met and the progress being made, she never addressed the political climate or acknowledged the imprisoned female activists barred from attending. There was no statement of solidarity, no critique of the harsh realities women face in Saudi Arabia. That silence spoke volumes. In a world where every public move is scrutinized, Alicia's refusal to confront the backlash left fans and critics wondering, was this another calculated move to protect an image, or a genuine misstep in a complex global landscape? For an artist who once stood for self-liberation and truth, the contradictions were becoming impossible to ignore. Behind the shine, the price of perfection. While Alicia Keys stood on stage speaking boldly about women's empowerment in Saudi Arabia, the reality on the ground was starkly different. Women in that same country were still struggling, denied basic freedoms to speak openly, choose their own clothing, or make decisions without male guardianship. For many fans and observers, Alicia's presence at that summit wasn't just a misstep, it was a betrayal of everything she publicly stood for. Her brand had been built on authenticity and courage, rejecting the usual entertainment industry games. Yet, by aligning herself with a regime known for human rights abuses, highlighted by international outrage over the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, strict censorship, and harsh treatment of women and LGBTQ+ individuals, Alicia crossed a line. Critics saw her participation as enabling a political whitewash, offering the Saudi government a veneer of progress without demanding real change. Fellow artists who had once declined to perform in Saudi Arabia began to quietly distance themselves, reminding the public why they avoided such events. Meanwhile, Alicia kept moving forward without addressing the backlash. No apologies, no clarifications, just a steady stream of projects as if nothing had happened. But the damage was deep. For a figure branded as a social justice advocate, accepting endorsements or invitations from oppressive regimes invites serious questions about authenticity. How can you champion justice publicly, while seemingly overlooking egregious violations of basic rights? Beyond politics, Alicia's squeaky clean public image has also come under scrutiny. For years, she was one of the most untouchable stars in music. No arrests, no scandals, no rehab headlines. A portrait of spiritual calm and control. Yet, industry insiders whisper a different story. According to multiple anonymous sources, producers, engineers, and former collaborators, Alicia hasn't always been as composed as she appears on camera. They recall late arrivals to the studio, unpredictable mood swings, and subtle hints at substance use behind closed doors. Not the wild party lifestyle, but a quiet struggle concealed from the public eye. No one has confirmed these rumors publicly. Still, insiders' voices persist because they come from those closest to the action, not tabloids or gossip mills. The suspicions escalated after several high-profile live performances where Alicia seemed off disconnected, with slurred speech and awkward transitions. The 2019 awards show performance was a flashpoint, with social media exploding in concern and speculation. Fans wondered, exhaustion, anxiety, something more? Alicia never directly addressed these incidents. What might have once been smoothed over with vague PR statements now met a skeptical and demanding fan base, one that no longer accepts silence. Instead of confronting rumors, Alicia leaned heavily into wellness branding. Yoga sessions, meditation albums, incense-scented interviews, and music steeped in themes of energy healing and inner peace flooded her platforms. Spiritual, yes, but critics argue it was also a carefully crafted distraction, a way to mask the fissures in her image before they became cracks. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. From a raw New York-born artist to a polished luxury skincare and spiritual lifestyle icon. Such a drastic transformation rarely happens by accident. Behind the scenes, industry giants like Clive Davis and Swizz Beatz, alongside savvy corporate branding teams and media strategists, have played key roles in steering and safeguarding Alicia's career. Allegedly, these power players have shaped not only her music, but the very persona she presents to the world. So the question lingers: how much of Alicia Keys is the genuine article, and how much is the product of careful construction? And as the line blurs, fans and critics alike keep asking, what is she willing to sacrifice to keep the spotlight shining? The mask behind the music, what Alicia isn't saying. According to observers, the image Alicia Keys presents to the world, barefaced, barefoot, effortlessly authentic, might be only one carefully crafted facet of a much larger persona. Once you start peeling back the layers, a lot of things start to click into place. Her persistent silence on serious industry issues. The way she sidesteps direct commentary on Jay-Z's controversies. The carefully worded speeches about Black female empowerment never quite name names or call out specific problems. It all fits into a pattern that's as strategic as it is mysterious. Say just enough to stay in the spotlight. Avoid saying too much and making real enemies. Behind the scenes, control has always been a key theme. Alicia claims to steer her own ship, choosing her path and making decisions. But according to insiders, when you look closer, the familiar figures appear. Clive Davis, the legendary music executive who shaped her from the start. Swizz Beatz, her husband and creative partner. And even Roc Nation, Jay-Z's powerful entertainment company, all with stakes in her career and brand. Allegedly, these forces don't just influence Alicia's creative output, they protect her, manage her public image, and smooth over any rough edges. Media insiders have noted how quickly negative press about Alicia disappears. Controversial stories get quietly pulled, headlines are reframed, and outspoken blogs often backtrack. This isn't mere coincidence. That level of image control costs money and requires serious influence, something only a few can wield. In one case from 2017, a blog post that questioned Alicia's sudden reintroduction of light makeup during her no makeup campaign was reportedly taken down within hours, only to be replaced with a glowing profile piece syndicated from a major entertainment outlet. PR specialists pointed out the clear pivot, noting that such swift narrative shifts usually require involvement from a major media handler or label executive. Even interviews seem tightly managed. Rarely does Alicia appear on platforms that push hard questions. She sticks to lifestyle publications, spiritual podcasts, and music award stages where the vibe stays positive. According to industry insiders, this is intentional, a method of shielding her from unpredictable narratives. So when whispers about drug use, backstage struggles, or image manipulation start circulating, it's not just about whether Alicia is hiding something. It's about questioning whether the public has ever really seen the whole truth. Has Alicia Keys been performing the role handed to her by an industry machine? Is the real Alicia lost beneath layers of branding, polished narratives, and controlled silence? These questions linger, and so does the mystery. In the world of music, power and image often collide, and the truth is rarely as clear as the carefully curated persona we see on stage. And if the spotlight only reveals what her team wants you to see, then what remains in the shadows may be the real story no one is telling. Do you think that Alicia Keys has a carefully crafted persona, or she presents her real self to the world? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. Turn on the notification bell to be notified of our latest uploads.